Welcome to our Week 8 NFL predictions. So, getting right into it, my dad did not predict last week, obviously. He hasn't predicted in a while because he's in the hospital. But he's not dead yet because he's Wolverine, so he can't die. But he's getting pretty close. Um, I went 9-6 last week. 69-38 is my overall record. So, yeah, not a great week for me. But let's see what Greg went. Oh, coincidentally, he also went 9-6 with an overall record of 64-43. So, which is pretty mediocre. But you're never gonna guess the record that Zach got. Guess what record Zach has? It will amaze you. 9-6 and 69-38, the same record as me. That's crazy, right? Everybody went 9-6. So basically, last week was just a whitewash because Zach and I have the same record and also went 9-6, which would make sense if we all picked the same games. You know, that makes sense. We all went 9-6. We all picked the same games, right? But the weird thing is, we all, most of the time, apart from maybe like 4 or 5 games, we all picked different teams. So the fact that we all somehow got 9-6 is really strange, but it happened anyway. Okay, Vikings Chargers. This should be a good game. I'm gonna take the Chargers by 3. I really like the Vikings defense. I think that they're probably top 2 in the league, maybe even top 1. And I think that they could definitely beat the Chargers in this game. I just do not trust Carson Wentz in the offense. The Eagles just shredded them last week. Um, yeah, so I mean the Chargers offense I don't trust as much as the Eagles offense. That's why I'm saying the Vikings definitely have a chance here, but I don't know. I just feel like it's going to be close, but the Chargers should win this game at home. Greg agrees with that. Greg has it by 10, and then Zach has it also a 3-point game with the Chargers winning. Chargers home field advantage I feel like isn't that big of a deal, but anyway, it's still home field advantage, home field advantage. Niners, Texans, I'll take the Texans by 7. Kind of like what I was just talking about with home field advantage. Obviously, we make fun of the Chargers all the time because they don't have fans and all of this. Well, the Texans definitely do have fans. I know a lot of people are taking the Niners in this game, which I'm a 49ers fan, so obviously I like that. I hope we win, but I just don't think it's happening. Texans proved last week that their defense is still great. Their offense is not great, but their defense balled out against the Seahawks. The Seahawks were able to do things, but still, it shows that the Texans defense can step up when they need to step up. Whereas the 49ers are just injured messes right now. They're still winning. They're 5-2, which is great, but I just feel like this is going to be the switch that the Texans need to turn things around at home versus an injured 49ers team, and your defense is playing great. CJ Stroud just needs that wake up call. Okay, Greg is going to take the Niners by 3. Makes sense. Like I said, a lot. I think the 49ers are favored in this game, which makes sense because the Texans look like shit last week against the Seahawks offensively. So, yeah, how could you take them, right? And the 49ers somehow keep winning games. I took the Niners last week against the Falcons, but I'm just thinking it's not, I don't know. The Falcons are going to Falcon. Everybody knows that. I'm not saying the Texans are a better team, but I think the Texans have a better defense. And the Texans offense hasn't changed that much since CJ Stroud was a freshman. So you have to think at some point that they're going to turn it on. We just don't know when. Zach is also going to take the 49ers by 10. Okay, Bills Panthers. I'm going to take the Bills. Talking about home field advantage, I think I didn't look it up, but I would assume statistically the best team at home this season is the Panthers. It could be the Chiefs too. The Chiefs are like if you play an Arrowhead, you're screwed. That I think that overall throughout the past 4 years or 5 years, the Chiefs have been the best at home. But um, I just woke up. I actually recorded this video last night, and then something happened and I lost the recording, so I have to do it again. But anyway, like I was saying, I think the Panthers are the best home team in the league right now. And if Bryce Young was playing, I would definitely take the Panthers in this game. They're just different animals at home. They beat the Falcons 30-0. They look unstoppable at home. But no Bryce Young, and it's against a good Bills team. I just have to go with the Bills here, especially because Carolina's defense is still too sus. The Bills are also a very suspect team, though. They don't look like the Bills. Greg agrees with that, and he's going to take the Panthers. I would do it too. Like I said, if Bryce Young was playing, I'd 100% take the Panthers in this game. The Bills have been very inconsistent this year. The Panthers have actually been pretty consistent for the most part. I mean, you can just tell because both teams have 4 wins. Okay, Zach's also going to take the Bills 31-13. Yeah, Bryce Young's not playing, so I can understand that score. Uh, and also, the Panthers did score 13 points last week, and they still beat the Jets. But I mean that's a testament to something, right? That the Panthers can win a game still scoring 13 points. But that's also just how football works. It's all about schemes. It's all about everything. If you can win a game without making it a shootout, why make it a shootout? Like every coach's dream is just to hand the ball off 50 times and win 7-0 because it it prevents less injuries from happening. You're not having to chuck the ball 70 yards down the field. You're not having to play from behind. So if you can win a game 13-6, then that's great. That's what everybody wants, except for the fans, obviously. We want shootouts. But if you're just talking about coaches and players, yeah, they would rather have it low scoring. Because a win's a win, and that's all everybody's trying to do at the end of the day is get a win. They don't care how they get the win, just as long as you get the win. Yeah, two teams that definitely need a win, both coming off losses. Falcons Dolphins games are always interesting. This should be a really good game though, because arguably two of the top 5 running backs in the league, I'd even say probably 3 and 4, Achane and Bijan, should be a great running back battle. Um, as for the offenses, not as much. I don't trust Tua or Michael Penis. Um, I think that both of them aren't great. Obviously, the Falcons have a better record, but the Falcons will probably win this game just running Bijan and not having to pass it at all. So that's why it's going to be 20-13. Greg is going to also take the Falcons. I like this score 24-17, 7 point game, because the Dolphins can obviously turn it on when they need to. They have a great offense. They've proven that they can be electric. It's just they can't keep it consistent. And also the Falcons also can't keep it consistent. So if the Dolphins won this game, I wouldn't be surprised. Two very inconsistent teams. Zach's going to say 24-10, which makes sense. The Falcons should win this game, especially because they're at home. Bears Ravens, man, the Ravens are 1-5. That's still a crazy thing to look at. I mean, it makes sense. Lamar's out. The defense is so ass. It's really surprising to me. I guess Patrick Queen was just that good of a player, right? Not really, because he also kind of sucks on the Steelers, and the Steelers don't have a great defense. But it really makes you think that something had to happen with the Ravens defense, because why are they so bad? Anyway, I don't think that's why they are 1-5. That will go into it, but obviously it's because Lamar Jackson is out. And that also really just shows that the Ravens don't have a great organization, or aren't very good at developing quarterbacks, because you can look at teams like that's been the story of the NFL for the past 2 years is quarterback resurgence, quarterback resurrection. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Mac Jones, Daniel Jones, all these quarterbacks that were the worst quarterbacks in the league, and you counted them out and you said, oh, they're so ass. And then they go to a new team, and you're like, what the hell? What's going on? The Colts are 6-1, and Daniel Jones is playing like an MVP. How did this happen? He was so bad on the Giants. And then you look at it and you say, oh, in retrospect, I think that it was probably the organization and they weren't developed correctly and they sucked because of the organization. So that really just shows how great Lamar Jackson is, that he's able to just look that good, because Cooper Rush looked better on the Cowboys than he does on the Ravens. That's crazy. So, yeah, that really just shows how great Lamar Jackson is to be on a team like this. Well, actually, no, I was going to say Joe Burrow is a good example, but Joe Flacco was actually balling out for the Bengals. So I don't know. I would say if the Ravens could just get a quality backup, but Cooper Rush wasn't even that bad on the Cowboys, and now he looks like complete ass on the Ravens. So it's something going on with the Ravens quarterback developing, whatever. Anyway, getting back to the game, I have the Bears by 3. I think their defense is really good and the Ravens' defense is really bad. But I also don't think the Bears' offense is that good. I think that they're going to allow the Ravens to stay in this game for longer than they should. But at the end of the day, the Bears should still win. Greg agrees he'll take the Bears by 7. And then Zach will also take the Bears by 7, which makes sense. It's probably going to be pretty low scoring. The Bears aren't going to have to work too hard to get a win here. At least they shouldn't have to. A game that nobody wants to talk about because, yeah, I mean, the Jets defense has been playing better, but that doesn't really matter if your offense can't do anything. Like, okay, the Bengals are going to score 30 points instead of 40. It doesn't really matter unless you're going to score over 30 points, which I don't think they will. 30-10. Joe Flacco is going to do whatever he wants. Throw to Ja'Marr Chase, T. Higgins, Ja'Marr Chase, T. Higgins all game. They're not going to be able to stop it unless they double team both of them at the same time and then sack Joe Flacco a bunch, which I could see happening. I can see them sacking Joe Flacco a bunch, but I just do not trust the Jets offense whatsoever. Neither does Greg, and neither does Zach. I know that sometimes I'm just skipping over these, but I also don't want the video to be too long. And also, these games, I don't have much to talk about. I mean, the Bengals' defense isn't great, so you can argue that the Jets will probably maybe score more than 13, but I just don't think so. Another team, two teams with good defenses, the Browns and the Patriots. And the Browns scored 30 points last week. So does that mean that we should consider them to be a good offense now? Probably not. I'll still have them scoring 14. 24-14, I think it's going to be a close game until it's not a close game, if that makes sense. Probably a close game till the fourth quarter, then the Patriots will just put them away. I think that it's going to be rough for the Patriots to do it. I mean, they showed last week in Tennessee that that first quarter, it looked like the Titans, you were really thinking, oh, they fired Brian Callahan. The Titans have a chance. They can actually upset and get a win here. Then, yeah, things didn't go well after the fourth quarter. I mean, the first quarter, but the Browns have a much better defense, and Judkins is running crazy, so I would not be surprised if the Browns won this. Greg is also going to take the Patriots by 14. Yeah, I think it's going to be closer than that, but I can see why he would think that. Zach is going to take the Patriots by 1. Like I said, that makes sense. Judkins is doing great. The Patriots had let the Titans in it for a second. So if the Patriots make that mistake again and let the Browns in early, then it might be too late at that point. Eagles, Giants. This should be a pretty good game. I'm gonna have the Eagles 34-17. I just think that all season the Eagles were so inconsistent. That offense was just so bad. Like they couldn't figure it out. But I really do feel like last week against Minnesota they finally figured it out. Jalen Hurts balled out, Devontae Smith balled out, AJ Brown balled out. All of them just looked so great. And usually in cases like that, when a team performs so well in the fourth quarter and they figure something out, the light bulb goes off in your head. Then going into the next game, you're going to carry that momentum from the last game. And I think that's going to be a perfect example of this game. The Giants should have beat the Broncos and they scored 30 points. I know that. So how can you go from that to scoring 17 points? I mean, when you let a team score 33 points in the fourth quarter, that's how. The Giants are a weird team because they could be good, but that organization, it's just they're not going to let them be good. Like, even if the Giants score 30 points in this game, you just can't trust the Giants. Their organization is so shit, you can't trust them to do anything. Like, they're a good team, obviously. They've proven that, but they just need to clean house. They just need to fire everybody. Because if you're up 19-0 in the fourth quarter and you let a team score 30 points on you, that's ridiculous. At that point, you just have to fire everybody. Anyway, I think that the Eagles are better than the Broncos, even though the Broncos beat them. Um, like I said, the Eagles, I think something finally clicked for them. And they're at home in this game. I don't think it's going to be pretty for the Giants. Greg disagrees, which makes sense. He's a big Giants fan, which is ironic since he's a Saints fan. Anyway, I said that last time. Um, so yeah, he'll have the Giants by 3. The big Russell Wilson fan, uh, which would have made sense when he was in Seattle, but it's hard to be a Russell Wilson fan now. Unlimited diarrhea. Unlimited diarrhea. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked. Zach will have the Eagles 24-21. I'm going to. That's actually the score that I had in the first Giants Eagles game. I had the Eagles 24-21. But that game the Giants were at home. This game, he's an Eagles fan, so I don't really understand why. Maybe he knows something I don't, but I feel like both these teams have had opposite week 7s. Sure, the Giants scored a lot of points, but they did the choke job of the century. The Eagles actually looked really good against the Vikings, which, like I said, is top 1 or top 2 defense in the league. But, I mean, yeah, like I said, the Giants are a good team. It's just they choke. Buccaneers, Saints, not too much to talk about on this game. The Buccaneers are going to be pissed that they lost. The Saints looked like the worst they did all season. Not too surprising. Greg will also take the Buccaneers. Greg's a Saints fan. He's got to start taking the Saints. They're at home. And then Zach, an interesting score, 17-3. But I mean, everybody thought that this Buccaneers team was just this high-powered offense, score a bunch of points. But like I said earlier, if their defense could hold the Saints to 3, then why would you even need to score more than 17 points? You might as well just do that. Cowboys Broncos should be a good game. I just think the Cowboys have the top offense in the league. I didn't look it up, but I think that this might actually be the number 1 offense versus the number 1 defense, which would be pretty cool. But I think that the Broncos defense, they showed last week, the Broncos can get stomped on. The Broncos looked like ass for 3 quarters, and that was against the Giants. I don't think you're going to beat the Cowboys if you score 0 points, even in 1 quarter. The Broncos score 0 points in 1 quarter, the Cowboys can just blow them out. At least that's what I think. Yes, I think the Broncos are the better team overall because the Cowboys defense sucks so much, but yeah, this either has potential to be a shootout or not so much. Probably a Cowboys blowout. I don't see it being a Broncos blowout, even though the Cowboys have such a bad defense. Greg is also going to take the Cowboys by 3, which makes sense. I mean, the Cowboys just look unstoppable right now, barring their defense. Zach's going to take the Broncos, which is a good pick. They're at home. It's just, yeah, how they played against the Giants for those first 3 quarters. I just cannot trust them right now to do anything. But still, I mean, it makes sense. They're at home. The Cowboys defense can't stop anything. So it would make sense that they would win. Titans, Colts. I'll take the Colts by a landslide. The Colts are kind of the exception when it comes to the only needing to score however many points you need. I think that the Colts just like blowing teams out. They just like, which makes sense because nobody expected them to do anything this year. Everybody was thinking like, oh yeah, they're gonna suck. So it makes sense. They have a chip on their shoulder. They're just saying, all right, we don't care. We're just gonna blow you out. We're gonna score as much points as we can. So I would start every Colts player in fantasy this week because I think it's gonna be a bloodbath. Greg also doesn't think it's going to be a bloodbath, but 27-13 makes sense. I just think, but I mean, these are the games that upsets happen because the Colts are walking into it. The Titans have no chance. They can't do anything against us. We're 6-1. We're the best team in the league. You go into the game thinking that, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute. We didn't game plan correctly. We didn't take them seriously. And then the Titans are going to end up winning, which also coincidentally is the only way the Titans are going to win this game. Zach will take the Colts 35-10. Sunday Night Football, Packers Steelers should be a really good game. I'm going to take the Steelers at home. I just don't trust the Packers. The Cardinals should have won that game last week. I will forever be salty about that because I took the Cardinals, and the Cardinals dominated that entire game until they choked it at the end. But that was my fault for trusting the Cardinals to do anything. Anyway, Steelers also don't look that great. Their offensive line isn't that good. But against the Packers, I think that they can do something. The Packers don't look that good. I think that everybody is aware of this. They look good, but then they lost to the Browns. And if you lose to the Browns, you can definitely lose to the Steelers. 28-26, I like this score with the Steelers winning. Both, I don't know, both these teams are very similar, very inconsistent. But also, I mean, every team in the league right now is inconsistent other than the Colts. So, I don't know. Micah Parsons could probably win this game by himself again. And that's the only way the Packers are going to win because I feel the Steelers had a better offense than the Packers last week, and they still lost. Zach's going to take the Packers, though. Not a bad pick. I mean, I don't know who's favored in this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Packers. Everybody still thinks that they're Super Bowl favorites, but I don't know. They've been too sus for me. Final game, Commanders, Chiefs. Like I was saying earlier, Chiefs at home are going to be unstoppable. I think they have the best home field advantage in the entire league. Used to be Seattle, but I think the Chiefs have definitely taken that over. And with Marcus Mariota playing, I do think that the Chiefs aren't the old Chiefs. I don't think that they're going to blow the Commanders out here. Um, I think it's still going to be a close game because the Chiefs just aren't as good as a team as they used to be. But will they get the win? Most definitely. Greg's actually going to take the Commanders. That's surprising to me, especially with Marcus Mariota playing. If it was in Washington, then I could debate it, but in Kansas City, that's a very, very bold pick. That might even be a